Aesthetic Podcast. I'm your host, Eric. This is your host, Randy.
Hello.
Today,
welcome.
Yeah, welcome. We're doing the podcast a little early.
Yeah, dude. Couldn't wait this week, dude.
Couldn't wait this week. Apple event. Big day,
Can I tell you right off the hop?
Yeah.
I went to pull up an article, and I was like bouncing my mouse off of the left side of the screen just to recap from last week's episode, and I couldn't get I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And then I realized it's at the bottom again.
Yeah.
So, sad times.
Hilarious.
Sad
times. Yeah. You're funny, dude. But yeah, so it's crazy because we went through the Apple predictions, and I'd say for the most part we were pretty much spot on.
I think so.
The rumors were true, because I had read a little bit of spoilers on the keyboard being black, and like they said notch. Somebody said notch. Oh wait, what are you drinking, dude?
What are you drinking, dude?
Breezeberry, dude.
I'm drinking an Alani new Breezeberry energy drink. It's actually pretty good.
Oh my god, dude! I need to get some new drinks because you know me, dude.
Yeah, dude. If you have like a Sam's Club by you, they come in like a case of 24. And like the 3 flavors you get are all amazing. You get Breezeberry, you get Cherry Slush, and you get Cosmic Dust, which is like a great boy, and which is the best one. So
nice, dude. What do you think of my lighting, real quick?
Pretty good, it, dude. It's warm, dude.
I put the softbox like right here, like I can turn it off.
I like it, dude. I like it, dude. Put it on, dude. You look bad with it off, dude.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Beautiful with it on, dude.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, it's pretty
well,
good.
When it's off, I can't see your shining face.
Oh, of course.
That's the problem.
Okay? It gets a little dramatic with it
That's
off.
the problem. Yeah.
Anyway, dude, I'll hit that Sam's Club up because I want some new excitement for my mini fridge.
I would recommend these. They are 0 sugar, 15 calories, and they taste like there's sugar in them. They taste like the best energy drink I've had, because like I've been trying to find 0 sugar boys.
Yeah, no, for sure, dude. That's the problem with most of these balls is they have sugar.
I don't know if you could see it on the.
Your eyes are in the way. Okay, yeah. It's too bright. Little hot, but yeah.
Little hot, dude. Come in. Now I got my eyes. Anyway, trust me, it's 0 sugar.
We don't have auto exposure, dude. That's what we get. Yeah, dude. I have a 0 sugar boy right here.
There it is, dude.
Balls 0 sugar, dude. Can Balls, edition. Amanda was drinking that.
So I'm shocked you didn't bring out different headphones for this event.
Oh my god, what was I thinking, dude? I have them right here. I should be wearing them. What the hell? I'd swap out, but I ain't gonna.
I kind of want them now.
The Max? Well, dude, it's funny, dude. These are great, by the way. I really love these. Best noise cancelers that you can get, in my opinion. They just look so good. Ignore the bra case, but like.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question real quick.
Nice.
Off topic, but it's an Apple show today, so
it is.
If you were to run in them,
would you? No,
no,
I wouldn't do it.
No,
for multiple reasons. The cups are kind of clothy, and they would just suck the sweat up. I mean, you can swap, obviously, buy other ones, but I don't think these are runners to me. And they're a little heavy.
I was kind of hoping for AirPods Pro 2 today.
Yeah. Well, I think we both were.
Before I rebought AirPods Pro, I wanted to know if I should just grab the Max boys.
Yeah, I don't know. The Max aren't really runners. They're wonderful for indoor use, around the house even. Like, I love using these, right? Anytime it's noisy, like, especially, like, it seems like whenever I don't want it to happen, it's happening. People are doing, like, yard work. And it's, like, noisy as hell. And I'm just like, no. I put these on, and it's good. You know what I mean? Sometimes my son will sit in here and like use the TV, and he's watching a movie, and I don't care to hear it really, so I just slap those on. It helps a lot. So yeah, I definitely use them, but like, I don't know if you really need them. If you have like the AirPods Pro and like you're happy with them, but like if you want that next level,
I don't right now.
What happened to them, dude?
So I gave them away.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Generous.
Well, here was the thing. I got the Galaxy Buds, and then I figured, we're probably due for a Gen 2 anyway, right? So,
what happened to your buds, dude? You using them?
I sold them with the phone as like a sweeten
package deal.
Sweeten the pot, dude.
Okay, not bad.
So and I actually ordered AirPods Pro last week.
Okay.
Because if you remember, I was able to return my Samsung Galaxy Watch because it was on like the last day.
Yeah.
So what was I gonna say? Uh, I have a gift card at Best Buy for like $400 and some, however much the watch was. So okay. I ordered Pros on Friday actually, and I was like, oh, you know what? I should probably wait for the event.
Yeah.
So now I'm sitting on this like $400 Best Buy gift card, and I was like, oh, should I get the Maxes, dude?
Yeah. You could. I don't know. I definitely use the Pros way more, especially in the office. I don't even use these in the office. They're a little bit too obnoxious. And when my hair gets a little longer, you get like the headphone hair with any kind of
I don't have that problem. Well, I won't have that problem for much longer.
Yeah, I'm balding, as you can see.
Maybe like 2 years, dude, I think I got left. Yeah. If that did.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I'll say that, with my short hair right now, it's not a problem. But like as it starts to grow out, yeah, it's kind of a thing. But like, I don't know. The Pros are just kind of like stealthy where you can walk around and it not be obnoxious. Right. So like for office use, and I use them all the time in the office, they're great. But the new, I gotta say, for this new event, right, I'll go ahead and pull it up because I have their website up. 3 things, right? MacBook Pro, AirPods, and HomePod Mini.
Let's start bottom up. Start bottom up.
I figured that's the way, save the best for last, right? HomePod Mini.
So I can tell you right now that the yellow one will be a day one purchase for me.
Oh, really?
Kelly's favorite color is yellow.
Okay.
And I got her a HomePod last year for Christmas. I got her the white boy for the bedroom, and like now she could probably use one downstairs or in her kitchen. So I'm definitely going to grab her a yellow boy for Christmas. So hopefully she doesn't watch this because that's one of her gifts.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well,
but yeah,
still the same price.
She's definitely going to get a yellow HomePod. Kind of, I'll be honest with you, man. Like kind of what I really wanted to see here was not even so much maybe a bigger HomePod replacement, but a Nest Home competitor. Right? Like something with a screen on it. Which sounds weird, right? Because they're going to be like, well, just use your iPad. But it's not the same thing, right? Like, it's not like a stationary device.
Right.
The last Google product I actively use in my home outside of like my Nest security system is the Google Home, because it's just a nice alarm clock. It has a nice screen on it. It's pretty cool to be able to kind of just visually see your home controls and then kind of click on them from like a central hub in your house.
Right.
I think it's a great product, and I was kind of hoping to see one today. I don't know what your thoughts on it are. As someone who's like more into HomeKit than I am,
well, like, I mean,
would you benefit from having a screen?
Oh yeah, 100%,
like that
dude.
With your controls on it,
Honestly, so, like, yes. I mean, because like think about it, right? Like I've been mentioning to you that I don't have an iPhone anymore, right? And that really sucks because if I want to interface,
not for long though.
We'll see, but it sucks because I want to use HomeKit and I have to do everything for voice controls right now. I wish I could configure HomeKit with like a touchscreen thing, right? Other than the iPad, because I can do it with the iPad, obviously. But it'd be kind of nice just to have a device like that. I don't know if it's almost as if they don't do it because they have the iPad, right?
I get it, but there's just something nice about something stationary.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
When you have a home, you know what I mean? Like it's nice to have a hub. I guess is the best way to put it. Like for example, like give you an example. Like I obviously have my OLED on my desk, my CX48, and then right next to it I have a little Nest Home. Yeah. Which by the way, I've never bought one of these. Google just keeps sending them to me for free. Mm-hmm. But it's just convenient, right? Like I could just glance down. It shows me the weather without me having to say anything. It shows me the time. But more importantly, if one of my Nest cameras detects motion, it just pulls it up right on the screen next to me. So like it has a really nice integration with that, and it would be nice if I could get something from the Apple camp that would do the same thing. Right. So like I know right away that as soon as the mailman is on my porch, it's going to show on my screen right here. It's not going to interrupt my main display. It's just off to the side, and it's just
right.
It's something happening without me having to do anything, and that's kind of Apple's space. I
know what you mean. So like many years ago, when I was first getting into smart home, I remember I took my iPad mini and I set up like all this smart home stuff on it. And I put it like in kind of like the center of my home. And I had it kind of like up. I tried to make it so it was like always on, always plugged in to kind of fill that purpose.
Sure,
and
sure.
I mean, it was not really the perfect experience for that. You run into a lot of problems. There's a lot of pop-ups that happen all the time. It wants to update and stuff. Like, I'd rather have a dumb device that like is reliable, has like the screen's always on, always where you want it to be, and it's just like a control panel, right? And that's always been like the thing with smart homes is like a control panel has always been sort of my vision of like how you control it. Right. Like you could have it in a living space, almost like on a wall, like a thermostat, and you could configure it. In your case, the Google Homes like sit on a desk, and you can, or wherever you want, in a kitchen, whatever. Right.
Yeah. I have two I got for free, guys. Yeah. So like I have one on my desk, and then I have one on my nightstand, which is honestly like the best alarm clock. And again, like having that functionality of being in bed. And like it's happened before, right? But like I've had like a friend come over drunk at like 2:30 in the morning, and like I immediately knew because it was on my alarm clock. You know, like that functionality is cool, and I would like to see that.
I would like to see that too.
Right now, I should say on my nightstand, I literally have a Google Home for that purpose, but right behind it is a HomePod Mini because I use two HomePod Minis in stereo pair for my bedtime for my bedroom speakers.
That's pretty cool. I love that. So, I mean, yeah, it'd be cool if they bring that product someday, but like for now, we're just going to have to deal with what they got. iPad is okay. It would just be nice to have that. The HomePod Mini, I'm really happy with mine. I have one right next to me. It's I have the white one on my desk, and I have a couple other white ones around the house. And that's the color I went with. I think out of all these new colors, I like the blue one. I think that would fit in my living room.
I like the blue a lot. I love the blue one. Yeah. Like I said, I'm definitely getting a yellow one. Probably a blue one for me. Yeah. To be honest with you.
The blue one would fit perfectly in my living room because I have like a blue accents everywhere, like a blue chair, blue pillows. So that one just would like slot right in, you know?
Right.
I'm like, dang, dude, now I got to get another HomePod, which I'm not upset about. They're great, you know?
They are great.
Speaking of HomePod, dude, you know what's weird? That $5 a month voice music service, dude.
I still understand that. So like that's not an add-on, right? Like we can confirm that it's just a lower tier.
I don't know. Do you get that functionality if you just get Apple Music, like $10 a month or whatever?
Like what does it do exactly? Like just talk to Siri and say, "Can you play?"
Yeah, like the examples they gave was like, "Hey Siri, play music for a dinner party," or like,
"Play music for a dinner party." We can't test it, right? Like,
I guess we could. You know, shit. I don't have Apple Music, so I can't. But you might be able to.
I do have Apple Music.
Okay, so maybe you can test it.
Yeah.
Does it play music?
Yeah.
Oh, it's playing music?
Party music on Apple Music.
Oh, yep. Then you're good, right? I guess this is like the cheaper tier for only Siri. Yeah. You know what's weird? You know.
Also, something just happened. That was the first time I've done that, guys. So like something happened that wouldn't have happened on an Apple product probably 3 years ago. Maybe I don't know the exact cutoff, but when I said play some dinner party music, it first asked me if I wanted to use Apple Music or Spotify.
What?
They're both on my phone.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know they.
So,
what?
Yeah.
HomePods can't do that, can they?
I have no idea.
I doubt it. That'd be nutty if they could, because cool. Like obviously I'm a I use Spotify. And I mean, I was thinking about going to Apple Music, but you know, I flop back and forth a lot. So
I will tell you right now, Apple Music is much better from a quality standpoint. They have lossless audio, which is insane.
Yeah.
They have there's spatial audio on some tracks, and they have the largest library. Where Spotify is a better product is with music discovery and with Wi-Fi based speakers. So like if you're trying to discover new music, like Apple will just be like, this is what's hot in the world. Whereas Spotify will kind of take what you've listened to in the past week or the past month and then make a discover weekly for you, or what's called a release radar for you. Right. So if you're like really into music and to finding new music, I think Spotify is better.
Okay.
But if you're looking for an all-in-one streaming service where you kind of know what you want to listen to and you follow music yourself and you only care about quality, Apple Music is a better buy.
Interesting.
I have both for two reasons. One, like you have a Tesla, so I like the Spotify integration natively. That's just a nice feature.
It's true.
Two, iTunes is hot garbage on Windows. So when I'm on my computer, I like the Spotify client, and I also like the discovery that I had mentioned. But mostly it's because iTunes is hot garbage on Windows.
Yeah.
and then I have Apple Music because it's what I prefer to listen to when I'm on my iPad or my phone, or if I'm streaming to my Kefs because it's a higher quality.
Yeah.
But also because we have the Apple One plan because it's me, my mother, and Kelly on the plan. So it kind of just makes sense since they all have Apple products that we would just have that as well. And actually, my Spotify I'm not paying for right now because I got it for 6 months free from the Fold. So,
yeah, this is off topic, on topic, but Spotify. I heard that if you shuffle your playlist, it's not a true shuffle. Spotify will play the cheaper songs for them to play before they'll.
I didn't hear that, but that's interesting.
Isn't that stupid though?
It's also interesting to note that Spotify, I believe, is the only mainstream audio service now that doesn't offer a lossless option.
Yeah, that's insane.
There are some songs that I listen to because, like, I listen to a lot of I would call them not mainstream. Like, I listen to a lot of like Blind Guardian, Power Wolf, like power metal stuff.
Yeah.
And Spotify Apple Music just not only has a better library, but like if you go back and you listen to tracks that were recorded in like the late 90s or so on, Apple's version is way better than what Spotify has for older music.
What? That's weird. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I had no idea. Yeah. I mean, I respect Apple for that. I think that I would get Apple Music.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's, now that you mentioned it, that is the reason I have Spotify, is for the Tesla integration, and I don't really justify having more than one. I can barely justify having my own. Like, Amanda pays for it, so like, it's like I should share with her, but I don't know.
Realistically, when we cover a topic later on, part of my problem may be solved. I kind of wanted to save this discussion for the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't think I'm going to renew Spotify.
Okay.
When it comes out, because to your point, paying for two of the same thing kind of sucks.
It does.
So I kind of want to keep the better one.
Yeah.
So I'll probably just play music from my phone like I would in a normal car.
Just Bluetooth, yeah. Honestly, I end up doing that a lot anyway, because sometimes I'll listen to YouTube videos as I'm driving.
Sure, okay.
So like, I might as well just do that with Apple Music as well, right?
Yeah.
When I have an iPhone, which isn't right now, but
But soon, before Christmas. So, and then lastly, if I'm at my computer, it's no harm for me to just keep my iPad next to me.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let me move on to another topic, dude. So we talked about HomePods, dude. The next thing was AirPods, right?
So kind of excited about these, actually.
Are you?
I am for a few reasons. Not necessarily for me, obviously, because I'll probably just buy a second set of Pros, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But bringing water resistance and spatial audio at this lower price point is pretty cool.
Yeah, I respect it.
And plus, they look comfortable, right? Like, they just look comfortable. I mean, like, not that AirPods were uncomfortable to begin with, but they look like
ergonomic versus the OG.
Yeah. Like, the OG ones kind of looked like they literally didn't redesign them that much. You know what I mean? Like, they kind of just cut the cord, essentially.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term. But these look like they were...
Like, they're definitely, like, they have that same shape as the Pros. But now, how are people going to know that I have the Pros in my ears and not the regular? It's like, you can't. Man. They look the same.
So here's a question for you, and I don't actually know this. Are the Pros water and sweat resistant, or is that a feature we only get on these boys?
I don't know if they advertise it. It's a good question, because I'd hope so, but who knows? It's you figure a lot of people are working out in their AirPods, so I don't think they had much of a problem anyway. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, sweat and water resistant. Yeah, down here at the bottom you can see it.
What's that? 4.5 hours on the Pros?
So there's actually less time. This is for the Pros.
Wow.
The Pros last less than the new ones, but it makes sense, right? Because you have active noise canceling. So
is that with the ANC off though as well, or does it list a specific time for that?
Well, there's no. Well, I'm pretty sure this is with ANC on, right? I don't know. They probably don't list ANC off. I don't know. They don't say it here. Well, they have an 11 next to it, but that's probably. It just says battery life varies by use and configuration, so they don't really go into details.
I've never had a problem with them.
I mean, me neither. I think that they have great battery life. I've had them get low, but like they charge so fast. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of nutty.
I have to ask you, since we're on this page, okay?
Yeah.
And sans the new ones, you've had the original AirPods, correct? Yeah. You've had the Pros, and you have the AirPods Maxes.
Correct.
As far as I know, as far as my understanding, would you say that the Pros are worth the price difference over what the 3s will be?
Okay, so for me, the ANC, the active noise cancellation, is really good, and I use it, and so yes, I think that it's worth it for that.
Okay.
I will say,
let's say someone's not in the market for ANC.
Then I just get the regular. Yeah.
Okay.
I just get the AirPods 3rd gen, and call it a day. If you don't need ANC, I mean, it depends also if you want the silicon tip or not. You know what I mean? Because like you'll get a seal with the Pro, even if you don't use ANC.
Right.
And so you will have better.
You'll get better
quality.
low end response. Yeah.
But I was somebody that was super skeptical on whether or not it'd be comfortable because like I don't know about you, but like a lot of times those silicon ear tips or any kind of like foamy ones or whatever, they bother me after a while.
Yeah.
I have to admit though, with the AirPods Pro, I don't have a problem. They're pretty comfortable.
I have a problem with the AirPods Pro.
What?
I do.
Wow.
I do.
What's the
problem? It's not like a problem that I notice, but Apple tells me it's a problem. So
what, the seal?
Yeah. So
you tried the other tips?
I did. So my left ear, my left canal, will get a good seal 100% of the time with the medium tip. My right ear will get. Now, I should also probably preface that like there's something wrong with my right ear canal. I don't know what it is, but like it doesn't. I mean, for like lack of getting into too much detail, like it doesn't drain wax properly.
Okay.
So like I have to go and get like a
wax suction done.
Get like water picked out at my doctor's office once a year. But anyway, after about 30 seconds, so like if I jam it in there, right, like it'll say good seal, and then after about 30 seconds, if I ran it again, it'll say improper seal in my right ear, and like I can hear it kind of like wiggle itself out.
Okay.
And it does that on the medium and the large tip. The small tip would just fall right out. So.
Okay, so yeah, the tips aren't really for you. I wonder if they sell third-party tips.
I don't know if they do or don't. But again, like I don't
just deal with it when you wear them, or
I don't audibly notice a difference. Like the ANC still has a seal. It still sounds fine to my ears.
Okay.
Just the mindset of like the test says something is wrong bothers me. You know
I know what you mean. It's like it's not perfect. It bothers you. I get it. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I know for a long time I would use Apple's regular headphones. This is like way back, right? When they were still corded and shit. And I just liked the shape and the feel, and I liked how I didn't have the rubbery boys in my ear canals. Okay. I love headphones that kind of just sit on my ear like that. And I felt like Apple had the best ones. The AirPods, the first ones, I really loved them. And I know that the 3rd gen's going to sell like hotcakes. It's, because people, like, to this day, I don't see a lot of people walking around with the Pros, personally. I see a lot of regular AirPods. And I think that a lot of people buy in, they go with the AirPods, they don't care about the Pros, they don't care about the noise cancellation, they don't want to spend the money. Some people do, right? Like some people like us really value like the better sound quality and the active noise cancellation, but most people just want to get in at a good price point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like so many more AirPods. So like I think the 3rd gen, what's weird is they're still selling the 2nd gen.
That price point's pretty good, dude. $129.
Did they lower it?
I think they did. I don't remember them always being $129.
I don't know. I don't.
Especially with the new charging case. Remember they came out with that new charging case?
Yeah, I have one of those.
If it comes with that new charging case, it's definitely a good value.
Yeah, I mean,
it has.
It's kind of
funny. Give us a light on it, right?
Think about it, right? There's been a lot of low cost competitors to the AirPods now. Bluetooth headphones are widely available. You can get like any price point you want, and so they probably were like, well, let's position our OG AirPods to be that low tier, still very recognizable, still brand recognition. They can sell it for that lower price. Put a middle tier, which is the new AirPods, and then still sell the AirPods Pro and Max. And now the AirPods make so much money for Apple. It's stupid how much money. Like, I don't know if you saw the charts on like how their AirPod business is bigger than most companies are. Just the AirPods, right? That's insane. So it's going to sell like hotcakes, dude. But yeah, I mean, that's not really why we were here at the event, though. Personally, I know they was like, okay, cool, they have AirPods, Apple Music stuff, blah, blah. I know I was really excited for the MacBooks. Do you want to roll into that?
I do, dude.
All right, so let's pull it up, dude. Browser, MacBook Pro. So we knew they were coming. We knew there was a potential design refresh, but I wasn't going to hold my breath because if I held my breath for a design refresh for the Apple Watch, I didn't get it. So I was a little bit like, I don't know if I should trust the rumors, but it turns out this time the rumors were true. New design MacBook Pro, 14 and 16 inch. We got the 14, which, we talked about the potential for that. It came. We talked about the potential for like a better display. We got the Liquid Retina XDR display, HDR. Insane display. The notch came.
Go back for a second.
Yeah.
I want to talk about those feet, dude.
Yeah, that's the first thing I noticed.
It's the first thing I noticed too. Like, what do you think the design logic is behind that?
Well, I think there's two possibilities. There might be more, but like my first two is airflow and sound characteristics.
I was thinking sound too because we have those two bottom firing woofers now.
Yeah, dude, they really talked about those woofers, dude. They were like dude, I cannot wait to hear these. MacBooks have historic sound. Like I remember when, dude, because you had a gosh, I don't know. I think the first time I really discovered Apple's laptop sound game was the the 12-inch MacBook. The small baby one. I still have it downstairs.
I love that MacBook, dude.
Yeah, it's such a sweet, sexy device. I still have it. I love it. And it's downstairs. Anyway, that thing had some amazing sound, dude. That little guy smashes like every Windows laptop. Yeah. To this day, it's still good. Yeah. And like every laptop, I'd say the 16-inch had better sound than the 13 here. If I recall correctly, because it's just bigger, right?
It's bigger.
Physics.
More displacement.
Yeah. And now they're really advertising displacement in this one. So, yeah, the feet, though. I mean,
feet boys.
I guess it's good. It's going to be good for ventilation. It's going to be good for sound. But I don't know if that's exactly why they did it, but it might be, dude. I'm really wondering about thermals on this guy. They talked a lot about, like, airflow being all, like, improved and stuff. And you pretty much have to. If you're doubling performance, right? You're not like you're on the same nanometer process node as like the M1, but you're doubling everything, right? Right. So you're literally doubling the cores, the GPU and CPU performance, and then you're doing it even more with the Max. Speaking of the name, dude, did we see this coming?
No, I didn't.
Not at all, dude. I was memeing. I was live streaming it. And I was like, I'm holding out for the Pro Max M1. And then they freaking pulled it out. And I'm like, no. I think the name's fine. But yeah, it's kind of like also annoying for some reason. Because everything's Pro and Max now. It's like I have the MacBook Pro with the M1 Pro. You know, it's like, ugh. God, it's annoying. But yeah, I mean... What do you think? Let's just talk about the chip, dude. So chips, M1 Pro, M1 Max. It's not the M1X. It's not the M2. What do you think about the performance here? Listed.
Okay, so like as someone who has an M1 Mac, right, and as you have someone who has an M1 Mac, I was kind of upset to see that all of the comparisons were against like old boy Intel processors. Like, where is the comparison versus the original M1?
Oh, that's like, well, didn't they show that on the graphs?
No.
Yeah, they did.
No, they didn't.
They showed the M1 on the graphs.
No, they didn't. They showed the old Intel processors, and that's the only thing on the website still.
Well, I'm talking about during the presentation.
No, at least I didn't see it.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. I don't have I have my VOD, but I'm not going to pull it up.
I don't remember seeing it at all.
Yeah, they had. I'll try and pull it up on the fly, but like I'm pretty bad about doing that. But like,
yeah, it's not a big deal. But like, I didn't see anything that like directly compared it to
whoop.
the current M1.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up right now. Okay, I'm seeing GPU performance versus power, and they show like Intel, right? Yeah, and that's kind of misleading, right? Like these graphs have always been a little bit misleading. And I know like Linus and them like obviously criticize Apple for that. Rightfully so, because there's not a lot of information to go on. These graphs are very artsy. They're not really based on real data, right? Let me just show you. I have something here that might work here. Let me pull this up. All right, you're gonna have a black screen for a quick second. Give me.
Dude.
Give me a second, dude. I gotta pull this up. What's it called? I have it up on. The hell's this? You're seeing some weird window right now. I'm pulling this up in real time though, so you know.
I see Windows 10, dude. What year is it?
Yeah, I know, right? Get out of here, Windows 10. We don't need you. Why isn't it showing it? It's weird. It's not showing. I'm trying to pull it up here. It's not showing up on my list, so I might not be able to do it, but
that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
But every comparison I saw, because I was purposely looking for it, right? It was against the Intel processor.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So they showed a little bit here. Let me see if I can pull it up. But god dang it, dude! Of course it's not going to work.
To pull it up, dude.
I want to so
bad.
To
bring up a point of contention that would cause work.
Yeah, it did cause work. Well, I wasn't ready, dude. I wasn't ready.
Okay, so either way,
yeah.
If you go on their website, right, and you go to like their like learn more page and you scroll down to the comparisons, it's definitely not there.
Well, yeah, that's another thing. They definitely need to compare against the M1. But you know, they do mention like twice the performance, stuff like that. You know, like they try and do like obviously those aren't
it says
real
2.4x of the of the Intel processor.
Oh yeah. I mean, to be fair, you know, good on them for beating on Intel, dude. Did you see that Intel commercial shit recently?
Did you see the article I linked you before about like how he wants to try to win back the business of Apple? I'm like, Apple's never gonna go back to you, man.
No.
Like move on.
Move on, dude. You're done. You're done.
Also, I do want to say that if you scroll down this page, notice every application just deletes that top part of the bar. No application actually uses that. It just puts a black bar up top.
Oh, I do notice that. So right here, like no notch whatsoever. Yeah.
So I'm super concerned about blooming up there.
Yeah, so you did mention. Okay, yeah. So we talked about this before with the iPad. Is the what do you call it? It's micro LED. Right?
No, this is mini LED.
Mini LED.
Micro LED would be the gold standard. That's what everyone wants, but that's a few years out.
So mini LED backlight. It's like I don't know how many dimming zones, but they do bloom. So it could be that at the top you're gonna get bloom. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, how bad would it be on the like? Say the iPad did this, would it be a problem? That's the question. I don't know. Because I've seen videos where you have a black background, you're writing with like a white Apple Pencil thing, and like it's obvious how bad it is, right?
It is obvious. It is obvious. Videos will over exaggerate it just based off of how cameras absorb light.
Yeah.
But Kelly has a 12.9, and like the display is gorgeous. Like it's gorgeous. Like it's a super nice display. It's a super nice display. But as someone who uses an OLED every day, you notice it.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. When we had the PG27UQ from Asus, that 1000 nit boy, 4K 1000 nit HDR monitor, it had way less dimming zones.
384.
What is it? 384 dimming. Okay, dimming zones, right? So those dimmings, I can't believe you pulled that out your ass. 384, dude. Good memory.
Yeah.
That it definitely would have that issue, but I felt like the display was so beautiful, though. The HDR experience so compelling.
So
it was worth
that's
the
a good
trade-off.
barometer. That's a good barometer. So like, if you're okay with the PG27UQ, the iPad is not as bad as that.
Okay. I'd say like there's always going to be those certain scenarios where you're going to notice it. Yeah. I'd say at normal SDR brightness though, is it going to be a problem? Maybe.
I don't know. My concern is with like video editing,
Okay.
right? Like, as it's super interesting to me that they show like they show Lightroom Classic here,
Yeah.
and they show Final Cut Pro, and they show Logic Pro,
Yeah.
and even Apple's native apps don't cut around the cutout.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that interesting?
It
That
is
like
interesting.
even their native apps don't do that.
Yeah, it's kind of funny here. Look at this too. Davinci Resolve right here on their screen. Yeah, black bars right there. It's weird because I wonder if I put my mouse up there. You know how like they showed the Apple taskbar, so to speak, like kind of hide up there when they do show the notch. I'm trying to find a screenshot of where they show it. Yeah, look, they didn't even show it
at all, dude. Yeah.
I'm
shocked.
It's
bizarre. Yeah, like I'll be curious to see when you get.
Okay, here it is. So you can see here if you do have the Apple taskbar. I forget what they call it, but it goes kind of like behind the notch, and I think that's a great use case, right?
I think so too, but I think that's only on the desktop.
Yeah, I'm really curious
if you're in a full screen app, you're just gonna get a black bar, and that might be weird, dude.
Maybe not. It depends on if I move my mouse up to the top on a full screen app and it like slides down from the top or whatever.
So then why not just leave it there all the time?
That's another good question. But maybe it's for like immersion, right? Like into the content, into what you're doing. So it's kind of like it kind of hides away until you need it type of mindset, maybe. I don't know. It's really curious, but I'm glad that they do that because not every app would work well with this notch in the way. So I'm glad that macOS handles it where it's like if you full screen your app, the notch isn't going to interfere with your content. So there's really all the people that complain about the notch assume that it's going to get in the way of their content. If they do this, you're only getting more screen. And there's not really any compromise. I mean, I guess
disagree with you. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to see Apple's native apps not supporting it.
Yeah, I know. You would think like in some way they would utilize
Xcode
that.
Doesn't utilize it. Final Cut doesn't utilize it. Logic Pro doesn't utilize it.
Yeah.
You know, like all right, Lightroom Classic, okay, makes sense. But
yeah, because you can see here Logic Pro chilling, and it's like cutting it out.
As someone who used Logic Pro today at work, I could tell you that they could easily have put the menus up there around the notch.
Yeah. It's probably, I wonder if they're going to do that into the future, but I don't know. But overall, like to summarize the notch situation, I don't think I'm upset about it like some are going to be. I can't wait I haven't been there yet, but I'm going to go on Reddit and just see like everyone hating on it, dude. I can't wait.
The only hate I've seen so far is the obscene price.
We'll talk about that in a minute, though.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what you get for that price first. Let's talk about what you get.
Can we go back to the top part really quick?
Yeah. Where do you want to go?
I just want to say that I don't know why it's that wide and we don't have Face ID.
Oh, the notch?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
like
is actually.
Like it looks like a Face ID notch, doesn't it? Like that's what I immediately thought. Was like, oh, cool, we're gonna get Face ID.
Yeah.
And then they never mentioned it again.
Yeah, it's no Face ID. It's just a 1080p camera, 1080p sensor, and
but that's a big boy notch.
Yeah, for that little sensor. Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I think you know what? If I had to make a comment on that, it's probably a little bit. It's probably multi-factor. I don't know if it was cheaper to do it this way. I don't know if it was easier. Maybe into the future, if they wanted to add stuff later, they wouldn't have to like make it wider and piss everyone off.
So do you feel like
be wide.
It's just a planned obsolescence product?
Yeah, that's another thing. It could be that like eventually down the line we'll have a no-notch, bezel-less, basically MacBook.
Well, I was just thinking like kind of like how they locked. Google does this a lot, and like I think to an extent Apple is starting to do it a little bit, where they lock features, but like software features behind hardware, right? So are we gonna get an M2 MacBook that suddenly has Face ID on it and it's the same size notch?
I wouldn't be surprised, dude. Watch Face ID come to the next Mac, and now that they have the notch space, they can really build that in because you're gonna need the million dot freaking shooty projector boy, and you're gonna need like infrared cam technology.
The other thing I thought of too was thickness, right? Like maybe the Face ID sensor is thicker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like
be,
the
yeah.
iPad and the phone are thicker than the top of a MacBook.
Right.
So
I mean, you can see here the screens. They even showed it next to an iPad, and they were like, "Look, we put like this amazing display into a panel this thin." And I mean, yeah, I mean that's pretty impressive, dude. That thing shoots 1,000 nits sustained, 1,600 nits peak brightness. This is
pretty crazy.
Like honestly, that really blew me away.
I think what blows me away too is then it really makes you question why the Pro Display XDR is so much money.
Yeah,
this
if
is
they
basically
can pack
it,
that
right?
same sort of display technology in a laptop, and it costs significantly less on the whole, like, you know, yeah, I mean it's an expensive laptop. That's part of it though. It's because of this display. If people are complaining about the price, I mean you have to realize that you're getting like a Pro Display XDR level display in a laptop. So yeah, to me it's like, well, I'd love to see comparisons against the Pro Display. These displays versus that, because that could change everything.
The Pro Display, the Pro Display XDR is only 60 hertz as well.
Yeah, that's another thing. This is Pro Motion, so 120 hertz. I was blown away to hear that we're getting 120 hertz HDR display. This
and 1,000 and 1,000 nits sustained.
Yeah, 1,000 nits sustained. That's the PG27UQ's
and mini LED
peak. You know what I'm saying?
And mini LED.
And mini LED. Yeah, way more dimming zones than what I had in my PG27UQ.
Yeah. So, do you want to cover software or do you want to go into hardware?
Well, I think
because I was kind of upset on the software side.
Speak to me, dude.
Okay.
What is it?
It'll be quick. It'll be quick.
You're fine.
Where the hell is macOS Monterey, and why aren't they shipping with macOS Monterey?
Yeah, I don't know. What was the hype behind that? Like, have they shown anything about it?
They teased it at WWDC. You know, like back when the iOS versions came out.
Yeah.
They showed off macOS Monterey, and they said coming this fall. So you would assume,
fall,
like with iOS, well, like that's right? Like when the iPhones come out, that's when the new iOS version is available, right? Like when the iOS 15 come out, iPhones. When did macOS Big Sur come out with the new Macs? Where is Monterey? They didn't mention it once in the event. The new ones are not shipping with Monterey, to my knowledge.
Right.
And it's still in beta. It's not even in GM. So like I don't.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what's going on with it. I know that they're having a lot of problems with universal control, just from reading the macOS beta subreddit. But I don't see why they're not shipping it and just delaying universal control.
Can you explain universal control for maybe our viewers that don't?
Yeah, so essentially, universal control is a convenient way to have a secondary monitor, and or just a secondary device, right? So like. Essentially, if you have your iPad or your phone set up next to your MacBook, you would be able to drag your mouse over to your iPad interface and copy files, copy texts, do whatever, just seamlessly, right? Like just without having to connect it or, you know, kind of plug it in or do any of that nature. You know, like, so like a really good example would be like, if I wanted to like make a mind node on my iPad and then just copy it over to my MacBook, I could just put it next to my MacBook and then move my mouse over to my iPad and drag it over. Or alternatively, if I wanted to, like, let's say that like I was working in Davinci Resolve on my MacBook, but I had messages open on my iPad, I could just move my mouse to the left over to my iPad and then start typing in my iMessage with my MacBook keyboard and mouse. Like,
yeah, no, that is cool. So
right, like that's super cool.
It is cool.
But it seems like they're having some issues with that because, you know, just from reading through the grapevine on the macOS beta subreddit, they put it in, then they took it out, and they put it back in. Now it's out again. Now I think it's back in, but you have to activate it manually through terminal. Like, wow. Yeah. So, like, but again, like, why not just delay it like ProRes on the phone? You know, like, just give us Monterey. But yeah, so weird. Like
it is weird.
Like,
yeah.
Like they didn't even utter, you know, like, hey, it's coming in November, it's coming in December. Just complete deletion from the event, and I thought that was a little thing to make note of.
No, I mean that is a good note, dude. Obviously, they're having.
I don't know if you picked up on that or not.
I didn't, but I don't really track like the I guess the software. Like I don't track the Mac OS and their release cycle. I kind of just wait, and then when it comes out, I'm like, ooh, cool, and I install it.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I'm having a bad experience with the current Mac OS.
No, I just like new features.
You know, I love new features too, and I like whenever they change the design of stuff. I think Big Sur looks great. So.
Same, I do too.
But yeah, I don't know the new hardware. I I think the design looks good. It's not very significant in the design language change. I guess it's a little bit more flat, a little bit more roundy.
Pixar?
No. I'm talking about like not software, but hardware, like the new MacBook Pros. They're kind of interesting because if you look at, I'm just looking at my 13-inch MacBook Pro and how, it's not really like completely flat. It's kind of across the entire top. It's like kind of got a contour.
It's like a convex, right?
Yeah, exactly. Same with the bottom of it. But this one is like completely flat up until the edges, and then it kind of has a nice turn, and then also completely flat.
So, going back to that picture really quick.
Yeah, this one.
What I thought was interesting was just how round the edges were.
Mm-hmm.
On the bottom.
Yeah.
I would have assumed that we were going to get like a boxy boy, like the iPad and the iPhone, and follow the design language throughout the whole line. Yeah. So that was a little interesting to me.
I like this better. It's going to be better to pick up.
I agree. I agree. I don't disagree with you, but I just thought that we would for sure see that.
I thought so too, like an iPad, like sharp kind of edge a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I think that they kind of struck this happy in between to where it's like, it's a little boxy, so they obviously have more internal volume to work with, but it's still ergonomic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that the design is kind of in a sweet spot regarding its shape. So I like the new shape. I think the bezels, obviously, I got done looking at the 13-inch Dell XPS, which has like no bezels and it's just sleek as hell. So the notch is obviously kind of not as good, but at the same time, it has a webcam. I guess it's going to be better than what's in the 13.
It'll honestly probably be better than what's in every laptop because the bar is really low on that, right?
Yeah, when they said like, the best webcam we've put in a MacBook, I was like, dude, that's not impressive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You haven't put anything good in a MacBook ever, so it's not.
You could put the front-facing camera from an iPhone 6S in there, and it would have been an improvement.
Not a high bar to clear that. So I was like, you can't hype that. Yeah. But yeah, I think. To me, there's two major reasons I was super excited about this thing. Obviously, the performance, unreal, right? When they talked about the actual speed, right? I'm just looking at what they're showing here. Obviously, you can't trust the marketing, but we're gonna see, soon benchmarks come out. Just so M1 Pro, M1 Max, right? Yeah, go ahead.
I have a few questions for you. So, like, I would obviously have the M1 Max. You ordered the M1 Max already,
correct?
What is the total wattage of this machine versus the watt hours of the battery?
Yes.
Okay. And then what does that compare to the 13-inch M1? Are we going to see a decrease in overall battery? But like,
I don't have the numbers in front of me. But this is what I think we talked about this before, where we were like, I was like, I'm excited about this event, but because you're on the same whatever nanometer process that the M1 was. 5 nanometer process, same power characteristics as the M1, just scaled up. Okay, if you scale performance up 2 times, that's kind of mean your power requirements are scaled up 2 times, right?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but like, I mean, obviously, like, consider this, right? If you're doing the same tasks that you were doing on the M1, like web browsing, it's going to use kind of like the same amount of power. You might just do it faster sometimes. Like small loads and bursts, right? It's going to be like the same draw, but it's really when you're going to notice the battery suck is when you're really using the performance of these things, right? So like say you're actually freaking doing a render, it's going to eat battery. I'm guessing it's going to chew through battery. Right. Okay, here's a great example, right? World of Warcraft, M1, it has, it's Mac Silicon, it's ARM capable, right? Native.
Right.
If I play that game and instead of playing on medium, which is really what you can do on the M1, I'm cranking it up to like max settings, right? Mm-hmm. Now I'm playing the game on my like M1 Max. And I'm cranked up, obviously, and now I can go up to like 120 hertz theoretically.
Yeah.
Like my battery's gonna.
I think you're really gonna see
die.
a big increase in GPU performance here.
Yeah, unbelievable increase.
Do we want to cover some rumor mill stuff?
What do you have for me, dude?
So apparently, this is from Apple Insider. A M1 Max Geekbench score has surfaced today.
Oh my god, dude! Geekbench Score, dude. Tell me, dude. I'm so excited.
So the 10-core M1 Max with 32 gigabytes of unified memory achieves a single core of 1749.
Okay.
And a multi-core of 11542.
Okay, those don't mean anything to me without comparison.
So here's a comparison.
Yeah.
For example, averages for the most recent 13-inch MacBook Pro with an 8-core M1 chip show an aggregate single core of 1750, so roughly the same single core.
Okay.
With multi-core scores hover around the 7600 mark.
7600 versus what is the other one?
So it's 7600 multi on the M1 versus 11542 on the M1 Max.
So pretty significant.
So in multi-core CPU, we're probably looking at like a 1.45% increase on the M1 Max, on the big boy.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
But that's just CPU.
That's
right?
just
like GPU
CPU.
is obviously going to be a train wreck.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. CPU, I mean, that's about what we expect. Single core, we don't really expect single core performance to boost. It's like the same architecture.
Like I said, it's the same architecture, guys. So
just
like
scaled up.
So like those 2.4% numbers, like they picked Intel for a reason, right? Because like if someone saw 1.45 better than the M1, it might not read as well in marketing.
Yeah, 100%.
But like if you follow processors and you're a nerd, and you're into the stuff, you would expect something like that. Probably even less, to be honest with you.
Right.
Because getting 1.5 times performance out of the same generation is crazy. It's crazy.
It is.
So
this is one thing I really knew. I was wondering if they would scale up graphics performance, and it turns out they really did. I mean, the numbers here are outstanding. I'm just looking at CPU, but GPU performance. I mean, they're claiming. I don't know what this is up against. It's talking about Intel, right? Like versus Intel, you're fucking this much faster or whatever. It's kind of nutty, but. Okay, this is against the 16-inch MacBook Pro on this side, but this is render speeds. Okay, GPU performance, render speeds being like 3 times faster or whatever. I don't know if this is actually going to translate to more frames in a game, or if that's like if there's more to that. This is Davinci Resolve they talk about too, which is great. Actually, can I click on that and get numbers? Here we go. Look. It's talking about faster effect renders.
Okay.
In Davinci Resolve. Affinity Photo. Here we go, dude. Look. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Faster. That much faster, dude. 4.5, whatever. It's going to be good. I wish I had Blender on here.
Can I put this into like a little bit more perspective?
Yeah.
Maybe for people to kind of understand just how crazy this graphics card is. On the M1. On the one slide, they showed that the M1 Max is 10.5 teraflops. I don't know if you remember that.
Okay.
So just to put that into perspective, that's like raw compute performance, right? Like that's how much it can push in terms of like float point operations.
Yeah.
10.4 it is. Apple unveils M1 Max 10.4 teraflops.
Yeah.
The Xbox Series X, the big one, is 12.
Yeah, so it was already pushing like close to that, which is insane.
So think about that, guys. Like the M1 Max is almost as powerful, graphically speaking, in terms of horsepower, as an Xbox Series X.
That's absolutely insane. And that's like current gen, so that's nutty, dude.
Yeah. But also for reference, just because we're talking about it, a 3090, a base 3090 is 35.6.
Yeah, I mean you're not gonna beat that, right?
Right. But I just wanted to give
No, that's great.
Yeah.
No, that's really good numbers to put out. So like, we don't have numbers for the M1 Max yet, for that sort of comparison, right? Because you were talking about the M1.
No, the M1 Max is 10.5.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so it is the M1 Max. So yeah, I mean it's pretty freaking good. It's really good. The unified memory I think is an exciting thing for people that need that kind of like VRAM scenario.
I found those graphs, by the way. If you wanted to pull them up,
yeah, just send them.
And you are right; it does show. The M1.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll pull it up. But yeah, I mean, so really, I know you and we were both kind of wanting to see it against the M1 anyway, because like we both have those. So it's like, well, we need to know how much we need to upgrade, how much we don't need to upgrade. Here, let me pull up the graphs. So obviously they have this like really cool promo slide where they show this is the M1 Pro. You can see they have the 8 high performance core, 2 low performance or high efficiency. I'll say that 16 core GPU, and then we go into the max status where we really ramp up and really cram everything they can. Look how big that chip is compared to the M1.
Dude, that scares me though. That power draw scares me.
It does. Look how sick it looks though.
It does. I mean, like, guys, it's obviously not that color, right? I just want to point that out. It's not that color.
No, but it looks cool as hell. Here's the graphs. Okay, yeah.
CPU but that doesn't tell me anything.
Power.
That doesn't tell me anything.
It doesn't.
It's my problem with that chart.
This is why Linus was so pissed. Apple puts these out and they're misleading.
Yeah, like, what does that mean? What is relative performance? Doing what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I don't know.
Relatively opening a Safari tab, or are we relatively like doing 8K ProRes render?
Yeah, I have no idea.
And if you look at the power consumption, like the M1 sits pretty at 15 watts.
Mm-hmm.
So like the M1 Pro and the M1 Max, this is telling me that the M1 Pro and Max draws the same. Well,
yeah.
The CPU in the M1 Pro and the M1 Max are they the same? And the only difference is the graphics and the memory.
Well,
and the memory bandwidth.
Hold on, let me actually go and check here. So we have 10 core CPU on this one, and I thought it was 8. Okay, hold on. 8 high performance, 2 high efficiency. So that's 10 core, right? 16 core GPU. Versus,
oh no, it's different. It's different.
It's the same 10 core though, isn't it?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
it's still 10 core.
Yeah, the slide they just kind of added them together.
Yeah,
weird.
That's
bizarre
shady
world.
As fuck, isn't it? But yeah, it's
so
the same exact shit.
Let's assume the processor is the same in both, because it probably is.
I think that's true. I think what you're really getting is you're getting more graphics, memory bandwidth,
and graphics. Yeah.
Which, I mean, granted, if you're using that, you're going to be worth its weight in gold, right? Like if you're somebody using that GPU performance, which is honestly really, really good. And it's sad they're kind of showing the Pro here. Where's the Max? I want to see the Max on this. Like you're showing the M1 Pro.
It's the next one down. It's the next one down.
Oh, is it? Okay, well, yeah. But I want to see them all together, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's really weird.
Well, you know, Apple's always going to play their marketing to their advantage.
Here's what scares me, bro. Here's what scares me. Okay? Mm-hmm. So, like, I like that it's the same performance plugged in our battery, because that bothers me to no end, like it does on Windows machines. But look at the draw on that Max, dude. That's 60 watts.
Yeah, you're talking about, hold on, yeah. Okay, so I see power consumption.
What if you're doing something that uses the CPU and the graphics card?
Ooh,
are we going to be pulling like 85, 90 watts?
I hope even not, because it can't even like
kind of a lot.
The charger it comes with is like what, 90 some watts, I think.
96, dude.
96
that's huge.
Watts.
That's huge, dude.
Hopefully this thing doesn't draw more.
Big, dude.
Is it?
So, well, I think 100 watts is the most you can do over USB Type-C.
Okay, yeah.
Currently, there's a new standard coming out that can do 250, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, okay.
But just for example, guys, like the Intel ones, like the older 16 watt, excuse me. Well,
oh, you're good.
The old 16-inch MacBook Pro Intel ones were based around a thermal power limit or a TDP of 100 watts.
Wow.
Because that's all you could pull from USB-C.
Yeah.
So now we're seeing, again, I don't think there's any numbers of what the total power draw is of these guys under load.
Yeah.
But if you look at the size of the charger, obviously if it's 96 watts, that could just be there for fast charging. But also, I don't know how much this is going to draw.
Yeah.
Like your 21 hours is probably when it's sipping power. Are we going to see like normal Mac or normal-ish laptop battery range under load? Are we going to be back to like 2 or 3 hours under load?
I'm curious about multiple things, right? Not only the power draw and the battery life.
If I can find it.
I'm also curious about heat and noise, right?
Because that may be a reason for me to, or for people to still consider the base M1, right?
I think that, yeah, honestly, I think if you're you don't need the extra horsepower, the M1 is still.
Hold on. Sorry. The Max comes with a 140 watt USB-C power adapter.
Oh my gosh.
This could be a hungry boy, dude.
Dude,
it doesn't tell me anything though on it, but like that's like kind of concerning to me, right? Like I don't know.
It's concerning to me as well because I obviously love the current like battery life of the M1, and to compromise that would suck. You know what I mean? I've been spoiled by this amazing battery life and performance per watt, and like obviously I'm getting way more performance, but like if I have to sacrifice heat, thermals, you know what I'm saying? If I battery life, it's gonna kind of suck to go back to that.
Like the M1 Mac right now, like never breaks 30 watts consumption.
Yeah, that's insane. And this thing is definitely gonna eat more. But I mean that's why they talked about their thermal design, and I'm hoping they really thought about it because they talked about airflow being that much better. They talked about
yeah, but that doesn't really do anything for battery life, right? Like,
well, no, battery life. I'm just talking about noise, right? That like I care about that too.
Air Force One did mention, he said that this thing is going to be largely quiet under anything except the most demanding of tasks.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to see a thermal issue at all. Again,
I don't think so either.
Again, you're looking at a 5 nanometer process, so like it's going to be a smaller processor to begin with, and smaller processor immediately means less heat, right?
Yeah.
So
let me show you something I just discovered real quick. This is like not off topic, but I don't want to lose it. Check this out, dude. This is the M1 Pro, right? I'm looking at the different 14 configuration. These are 2 Pro chips, but they're different. Like they have. Did you notice this? I didn't really notice there were multiple SKUs for like just the Pro chip.
I didn't because they didn't mention it. But usually when they say, like in Apple marketing, like during their keynotes and stuff, they'll say up to 10 cores. That means that there's going to be a configurable cheaper option, but all of their benchmarks are based off of the higher option, right? Like we saw that with the M1, right? Like if you get an Air, you have a GPU core disabled.
Yeah.
And even with the A15 Bionic, if you get a non-Pro phone, you have GPU core disabled there as well.
Okay. They're doing the same thing here, yeah.
Yeah, right. And like that's smart. That's super smart for 2 reasons.
Okay.
One, it gets the product in the hands of more consumers, not only because of price, but because of yield, right? Like I know that to create a die that has all 8 cores or all 10 cores working, how many ever it has,
right,
you're gonna have a lot less yields. Like chances are you're gonna get a lot of dies that have 1 or 2 faulty cores,
right?
And it's common practice in the industry that they could just disable the faulty core, and those 8 are fine.
Yeah,
like you're not getting a defective product, you're not getting anything wrong. That's just how it is.
Let me ask another question, dude. So like I'm on the website, how come they don't show you the M1 Max here, like unless you click on 16-inch? Like,
what do you mean?
I'm on the tech spec page, right? And I'm looking at 14, 16, right? And I scroll down, like I'm on the 14. I'm looking, they don't show the Max. If you click on 16, they do, right? Like they show the Max here and the Pros, but they don't show the Max on the 14 for some reason. But you can configure it.
Oh, the Max. I don't know.
Yeah, they show up 2 different Pro schemes, no Max, 16.
You're saying Max MAX, and I thought you were saying MACX, and I'm like, what do you mean, dude? They're right there.
No. Oh, sorry, gosh. God dang it.
So essentially what's happening here is like Apple only shows you what they consider to be the most popular configurations. Oh. So like if you go into 14-inch, like just on the Apple Shop buy, there's 2 options. Like there's 2 preset options. And they're both Pros.
Yeah.
There's the 8-core, 14-core, and then the 10-core, 16-core.
Yeah.
But then if you go into select, you can customize it to be the M1 Max.
Yeah. Like you can bring it up.
Yeah, which is it's
so here's
kind of interesting
options,
to me,
right?
Dude. I didn't even know that there was a lower version of the M1 Max. I didn't know that.
Wait. Oh, you mean the OGs? Like the 13?
No, God, here we go again. MAX, not MACX.
A lower. Oh, is there a lower version of the M1 Max? Huh.
Yeah.
God dang it. So, well, yeah, it's a different GPU core one.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what?
I didn't know there was a 24-core boy.
Oh my God, I had no idea.
I didn't know that either.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I guess there is. So there's two different GPU core count one, unified memory options, two different 32 or 64 with the max.
Yeah,
2 TB,
like,
and this is the one I configured. So like, yeah, I'm definitely getting the beefcake one. 96 watts though, and like, but like, are they? I guess all their benchmarks are off the 32 core. I guess.
yeah, for sure. They're not gonna gimp their benchmarks.
It's so weird though, isn't it?
Well, no, because it's like I said, right? Like like just talking about the industry. Like this is an industry standard.
Okay.
And we're already in, excuse me. We're already in a chip shortage. But guys, like graphics card companies have been doing this for years.
Okay.
Like the 3080 and the 3090 are the same die.
Yeah.
The 3080 just doesn't have a full fat was it NV107 on it?
Yeah.
Whereas the 3090 is just basically a golden sample 3080 that has all of the cores enabled.
Okay.
So a lot of that value that you pay for when you go from a 3080 to a 3090 is just because the yields are so low on getting a perfect die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like this is commonplace in the industry. This happens all the time. It's not like they purposefully make parts worse. And again, you're not getting a defective part because those cores work perfectly. They work fine. You know, like having one damaged core doesn't matter.
No.
Because it's disabled. Actually, PS3 did that. If you remember Cell processor.
Yeah, I do.
That's why it had 7 cores instead of 8.
Wow, they disabled like the worst one.
And chances are, most people had a full working 8, but they built the system around 7 to get cost down and yields up. Just a little fun fact if you're ever in Jeopardy or something.
Isn't that awesome?
That's why Cell
had
seven cores.
Okay.
But I digress. So like, don't feel like you're getting a worse product.
No, 100%.
Basically what I'm
Let me ask you a couple things. I want to know what your opinion is. So like, on the, just talking about specs, right? Unified memory. What do you think about the like 64 gigs up to?
Amazing.
That's amazing, right? Unified between CPU and GPU, pretty good.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Unified memory is really exciting because this is something that you don't have on non-ARM based machines, and you can't have it on non-ARM based machines. I don't want to get too in the weeds with like what DMA and direct memory access is, because like I can make a full episode on like shit like that. But essentially, there's a reason why when people overclock, they use boards that have 2 RAM DIMMs on them. And that's because it's physically the shortest path between your RAM channels and your processor. Okay, so that's why I like the Z390 Dark and the X570 Dark. They're all 2 RAM boys. Like all of the hardcore overclockers use 2 RAM boys because the DRAM modules are physically closer to the processor. And when I say physically closer, I literally mean that. Like the traces on the motherboard are shorter, and that gives them better performance.
Okay.
So when you're operating at like this is what peak performance looks like. That's the kind of stuff you look at.
Okay.
So when you have unified memory that's all on die, it's wicked fast.
Right.
Like that's why AMD's HBM is wicked fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you have unified memory, nothing gets wasted because you can allocate system memory and graphics card memory without any waste or overhang. I mean, I don't have that issue right now because I have a 3090, but like, how awesome would it be, Eric, if you could take some of your system RAM and have no latency and have no latency issue, but load some of your videos or your Blender renders onto like shift some of that over with no performance hit.
I mean,
without having to use like swap.
Well, we saw
like
that,
you know what I mean?
the other day when I was messing around with Davinci Resolve, how it would just slam my video memory, like my 10 gigs or whatever I got, right? Like instantly wreck it. And I was like, man, so the unified memory in that scenario would have been unbelievably good. It would have improved Davinci Resolve performance that much better. And I can't wait to even test it. I think what
people have to realize, because like a lot of times when you hear shared memory, it kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth, right? Because when you think of shared memory, you think, all right, and I'm just putting it in like Intel days, right? Like I have 4 gigs of shared memory for my Intel integrated graphics that's also shared with the system. That's kind of like this, but there's 64 gigabytes of it. And you're probably never going to use even 16 of that for a system, especially on Mac.
Not even close. Not even close.
So think of I'm trying to find a good analogy for this, but basically, just think of having 64 gigs of dedicated memory that could be used for anything.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like this isn't like one of those cheap boys where it's like I could barely run Windows and now my integrated graphics card has to pull from my system memory, which is not on the same core. It's like, you know what I mean? Like this is the way.
Yeah,
this is the way to do it.
It is the way, dude. I hope that someday we find better ways to do this in the desktop environment, with actual GPUs. But
can I be honest with you, dude?
Yeah.
I'm considering maybe this being my last Windows-based machine.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's a little shocking to hear that, but it's also something you've tried before, so.
I have.
Yeah.
But I think we're getting to a point now.
Well, think about this. You're about to have a Steam Deck, right?
Right.
So that could kind of fill that void that you're missing, right?
So, there's some differences from the last time I tried this and to now.
Yeah.
Now we're in a new console generation where it's going to sound weird, right? But, now most things are high frame rate on console.
Console experience is good.
When I tried it last time, that wasn't the case.
Right.
But more importantly, I mean, you and I talk about this all the time. Like, if we could use Mac as our main machine,
I would.
That would be the dream. And, we kind of have that discussion, where you and I are going, that we have more fun playing around in Resolve or Blender or Photoshop or Lightroom or Capture One.
Yeah, than actual gaming sometimes. Yeah.
I have to. I'm like, this is gonna sound really weird, but I have to work tonight after this podcast, right? I have to edit a video, and I'm not totally upset about it,
right?
Yeah, I'm not.
It's fun.
I'm not.
Video editing and photo editing, it's fun.
So
genuinely.
I think the dream for me, if I can get around, not being able to play Windows-based games, which is the hard part, right?
It is.
But imagine having the laptop you're getting.
Yes.
And you just come home from work and you just plug it in, and then now it's your desktop experience. And then when you wake up in the morning and you go back to the office, you just unplug a Thunderbolt cable and you take it with you.
That's the dream. I know people that do that. Like on YouTube, you see those people. Yeah. They don't necessarily game at the level that we do.
That's the problem,
and that's
right?
how they can get away with it. But and that's how most of my friend group, they don't really look at Macs as an option because they don't game. And I totally get it. If you're a PC gamer, you're stuck on Windows and it sucks.
Yeah, it does suck.
Because that's your only option. But I gotta say, think about this Mac, this new Mac with this amazing performance, amazing GPU performance, and I can't game on it. What a sad situation. You know what I mean?
It is sad, dude. And it sucks, right? But I get it. If you're a small studio, you really are already struggling to make ends meet.
Right.
So you have to make your app for Windows and Mac, compile it twice, support both, publish both.
Yeah.
It's a lot for a small studio to undertake.
Especially with the low user base of Mac OS, and the gaming audience on there is significantly less. I understand you need to target the platform with the most users, right? And that's why, honestly, that's why we iOS apps, there's so many more and so much better apps in the iOS,
higher quality,
because when it comes to phones, Apple has the better ecosystem for apps.
Yeah.
But when it comes to PC and desktop and laptop, Windows is for gaming, at least. Steam, it's all on Windows. It sucks, but it's the case. Sometimes you get people that support the Mac, sometimes you don't. So
yeah, and then you have companies like Blizzard who are okay, we'll put some games on Mac and we'll be there on M1 day one, and then
I know
we're gonna release Diablo 2 Remastered, and we forgot the Mac exists.
It sucks because
it's what are you doing?
I don't understand it. I mean, I think they outsourced that a little bit, but it sucks because
Diablo 2 Remastered.
Yeah, I think they had other studios working on that.
Yes and no. So essentially, what happened is there's a third-party studio, actually a first-party studio, if you want to get technical. Vicarious Visions, they are under the Activision umbrella, and as you know, Blizzard is under the Activision umbrella.
Yeah.
Vicarious Visions was responsible for the Crash Bandicoot remaster, which got praised up and down as being one of the best true-to-life remasters ever on the planet. And then they also redid Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remaster, which, as you know, was also another banger of a remaster.
Yeah.
So essentially what happened was, I'm sure that if you're into like video games and stuff and do any sort of PC gaming, you may have realized that Warcraft 3 Reforged was kind of a shitstorm, and it is still a shitstorm.
Yeah,
and
sad.
It's pretty much brushed under the rug, which is terrible because I was really looking forward to that. Like,
Same.
as someone whose gateway into like LAN parties and such was Warcraft 3 and Counter-Strike,
right?
I was hyped as hell for Warcraft 3 Reforged.
What a disappointment.
So essentially,
what a disappointment.
Right. So essentially what happened was Activision made the executive decision to say, you know, Vicarious Visions, you knocked out of the park with your remasters, you're doing Diablo.
Okay.
So Vicarious Visions did Diablo. It wasn't really outsourced because it's all under the Activision umbrella. But a different studio other than Blizzard did the Diablo 2 remastered remake. And for what it's worth, they did a crazy good job.
Yeah.
Like the game is insane, guys. It's really
good.
well done on PC. The console versions, I'd argue, are better than the PC version.
That's crazy. Wow.
And it's only because like and I'll just brush on this quickly because we're kind of getting off topic here.
Yeah.
But if you play Diablo 2 on the computer, you know how you basically only have left and right click?
Yes.
And then you have to remap the hotkeys?
Yes.
Well, on Xbox, you can have up to, I think, 5 skills mapped at once.
Oh, wow. What?
So whereas on PC, you can only have 2 skills mapped at once. You can have 5 skills mapped on the Xbox.
That's fucking cool. What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah, so like it's
That's
so
way
like
better.
on Xbox, the UI is more like a Diablo 3 interface, where you have like your row of hotkeys versus the 2 buttons you have on PC.
Wow.
So yeah, I think they did a great job with it. But you know, coming back full circle, if I could game on the Mac, right? If some miracle seed came out and they said that, and like Rosetta 3 was like, we can translate Windows x86 to Mac OS ARM, I would never buy a PC again. Mark my words, I would never buy a PC again.
Yeah, 100%.
And like you're gonna say, yeah, but you won't get a 3090. That's fine. I don't care. I don't like.
No, I think that the performance that are happening in these machines now, like with this new M1 Max, right? Like it's gonna have really respectable performance. I'm not getting 3090 performance, but it's gonna have amazing performance. And I don't think I would be upset with having that, level of gaming power, I guess.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's kind of frustrating too, because like I downloaded the Battlefield 2042 beta and I run a 3090 underwater with liquid metal shunt mods, and I run EVGA BIOS on my EVGA Kingpin BIOS on my Asus 3090 Strix.
Yes.
And I still can't max out Battlefield 2042.
That's nutty.
So like if I'm already going to be compromising settings, why not just play on? I don't know.
I get it.
It's like a weird mindset, but like it's kind of like an all or nothing deal.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's like you kind of hope like if you have like the best card that you'd have like be able to clear the max settings, but I get it. Like sometimes devs kind of future-proof their games too, but there's diminishing returns after a certain graphical fidelity where you're just like losing frames for no visual improvement. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the gamer that plays on high is probably getting like that sweet spot. You know what I mean?
No, I get it, but it's like it's kind of like what you're saying, right? Like if you played a game on the M1 Max, right? Yeah. And you played it on medium and it ran fine. You're like, all right, this is sweet. I can play the game.
Right.
If you have a 3090 to the level that I have, where like you have a computer like yours that's on full water, and you launch a game and you have to turn settings down, it's almost like, well, what did I do this for? You know what I mean? Like it's almost like I know. At least that's my mindset in it.
I just love the idea of having the laptop like and like plug it in at my desk, and it's like fully integrated with my peripherals, everything, and then like my monitor, and just bam, and then like when I'm ready to go, unplug, walk away. It's exactly where I left it. Like that's a magic. I think like I would love to be in that world. I know we tried it before, but it's just like the allure of PC gaming is just too strong. That's why I'm really just keeping an eye on developments in the wine scene, in the translation scene. I'm looking at Boot Camp, like hoping that somehow it ends up on these devices in some way in the future. Like if I could boot camp Windows on here like I could with the 16-inch MacBook Pro, the old one with Intel, like it would be way more compelling from like a ditch Windows perspective, right? Because it's like on the occasion I need that Windows exclusive, I could just boot into Windows and then do it. But you can't really do that. And like, obviously we don't want to do that at all, but like it's kind of the world we live in.
For me now, again, you know, a lot of this is on the fact that the PS5 and the Series X now exist, right? Like I want to play Far Cry 6.
Yeah.
And
Console
I'm really
boy.
debating if I should get it on PC or Series X. And the reasons are, one, it's not on Steam. It's on like the Ubisoft store, which is bizarre.
I haven't bought a single. Well, actually, Ubisoft store isn't like I've bought stuff on there, I think, but regrettably,
the stuff I have on there is like free codes I've redeemed from buying graphics cards.
Yeah,
like I have Watch Dogs 2 on there. I've never played Watch Dogs 2. I just got it because it was free with the
I played it for
anyway.
like 2 seconds.
I digress. But people also say that like Far Cry 6 on PC is a shitstorm because of the Nouveau DRM.
Oh.
And like so even on high-end machines it's micro stuttering.
That sucks.
But like the Series X wouldn't have that micro stutter issue. And I wanted to deal with the Ubisoft store. But
isn't
then
this the worst thing about PC gaming? It's like you gotta keep an eye on those little tweaks that you gotta do to make it be optimal, and that sucks. Like it's not that like sucks, I love tweaking and like playing around with stuff, but only when it's like, you know, when it's fun. Like having to tweak it so your game doesn't perform badly isn't fun. You know what I mean? So like that sucks. Like I like tweaking, I like modding, I like doing all that, but like when I have to do it to make my game perform better than the console, that's stupid. So
I'm gonna send you a picture right now.
Do it.
I mean, if you can pull it up, that'd be cool.
Do it, dude. Send it.
So like this is also another compelling reason of why I want to get the like the dream of switching to Mac.
Yeah. Give me 1 second, dude. I had the desktop. And throw it on there. Bam. Okay. Boop. There it is.
So, what do you see wrong with this picture?
Hold on.
See if you can point it
out. What's wrong with it?
It's a nice build, though. By the way, right?
It is a nice build. Is there actually something wrong with it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Is it? Am I going to be able to tell?
I would hope so. I think aesthetically, what's wrong with
okay,
it?
I don't like how your cables. Hold on.
No, my cables are
cables
clean,
are
dude.
Sexy, actually. Nice color. So okay, I'm trying.
It's right there. It's right there, and there's one up top too.
What are you talking about? These danglers?
No, it's on both radiators.
Oh, the fans?
Yep.
What's wrong with them, dude?
Look at that pink boy.
Wait, oh no!
And look at that pink boy up top.
Oh no! What happened?
Yeah.
Did you have LEDs die?
Yep.
Oh no! Yeah, I didn't notice at first, but yeah, there it is. Oh my god!
So as you probably know, RGB gets the same because it makes colors from 3 colors.
Yes.
You know? And one of my colors is dead, but one of the colors it would be to make that color is pink. So, and guys, if you've built a computer like this, like changing out that fan is a nightmare.
Oh my gosh, especially when they get so tight and like, honestly, dude, that's why I did the server rack build, dude.
Yeah,
because like I was done messing around in builds like this, like as beautiful as this is, dude, and honestly, stunning, right?
Thanks, man.
It's honestly stunning. Like when you get a hard to build like this, like look how beautiful this is. I don't think anyone watching the YouTube podcast is going to deny, like, this is, besides the pink boy, it's like, honestly, this is stunning, right? And like, especially because you have that really sick distro block, like, oh man, it looks good. But it's just so hard to do any maintenance on these. If you have something die. I had a motherboard die.
Yeah, it's crazy.
In one of these.
It's so frustrating.
Like having to do a motherboard swap was like in a complete teardown. That was like a whole evening wasted. And like,
for me to replace the top and bottom fan on this is pretty much me tearing down the whole motherboard essentially. Yeah, because every tube has to come out.
Oh no,
I have to take out
you can't. That's not an easy swap, dude. That sucks.
No.
Yeah, I noticed like that's one thing. And then I had a build like this, and then I had my what was it, Corsair Commander Pro controller die, and then all my cool RGB-ness just went out the window. And I was like, God damn it. And those Commander Pros are like $60 or some shit. Like, they're expensive.
Yeah, my Commander Pro broke in my old build.
Yeah.
And granted, that was an easier swap out than a fan, but still, you know, like
it's like expensive.
I wouldn't have to worry about this.
It's like, do I really have to be RMAing like these parts all the time? You know what I mean?
Like an RGB light controller.
Yeah.
Like what? Like
when it comes to PC gaming, like being on the high end is obviously fun as hell, but like it also comes with its cons, dude. You're gonna be RMAing shit all the time. I just had a friend, dude. I didn't tell you about this. Friend of mine named Dennis. He's got a 3090. You know how like there was that clickbait bullshit about New World frying 3090s? It actually happened to a friend of mine.
Really?
It actually happened to a friend of mine. Recently? Yeah, like pretty recently. It was like last week. And
okay, because I was curious if it happened after launch of New World.
Yes, it was after launch, and he was playing, and then like he said, like everything went black, and now it won't turn on, and his 3090 is like done.
Just out of curiosity, did he have an EVGA 3090?
He did.
Because it seems like those are the only ones affected by it.
Yeah, so that's probably the case. He had an EVGA 3090, and then now he's going through the RMA process with the EVGA. But that's just crazy. Yeah. I thought when I had my friends linking me articles, Jay's 2 cents YouTube video, 3090s catching on fire with the clickbait flames and shit. I was like, dude, I ain't clicking on that clickbait bullshit. I know what Jay's doing. But now it turns out like it actually is a thing. And I was like, I thought that was clickbait, and it was mostly.
Yeah. A couple things here. One, I pretty much confirmed a while ago that the EVGA one did have a problem.
Yeah.
But if you remember going back to the 2080 Ti thing, like even Gamers Nexus had that shirt that I bought with like the artifacting all over it.
Yeah.
Every single person I know who owned a 2090, it broke.
Dang.
It broke.
That sucks.
It broke. Actually, my good buddy Johnny, who I go golfing with on Sundays, he had a 2090 that just shit the bed.
Yeah.
So I gave him a 1070 I had in the closet to use in the interim because he's dead in the water now. Like, what's he gonna do? You know, like he can't certainly buy one.
Right. Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna
That's
send
just
you a picture
sucks,
real
dude.
quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's just it's weird, right? Like it's just these headaches that like you wouldn't have to deal with, and like I get it, they're first world problems, right? But at the same time, like just having that's part of what makes iPhone appealing to us, right? Is like as someone who tinkers and is involved in the tech world all the time, not having to worry about your own technology ever is a nice place to be.
Yeah, and I was saying that too. I keep telling people like, yo, if you work in IT, you work on computers and they suck all the time, like the last thing you want to do is come home and work on shit that sucks. And is broken, and you're like, God damn it.
You're not wrong. Yeah,
I just want things to work for once in my life. Like, I want my stuff to fucking work, dude.
Here you go, dude. Pull up this webpage.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. I'll copy it. So what am I looking at here, dude? What do we got?
This is my 2080 Ti. Remember this, dude?
Yeah. So let me pull this out, dude. Look at that coil keyb, dude. That keyb. What happened to it?
Yeah, dude. It's over here.
Is it? Isn't it?
Yeah,
dude. Yeah. There's that Air 58, dude. Look at that.
Yeah, that is a Fiel.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So we're actually looking at the screen here. So
yeah, we're looking at the screen, not the keyboard.
I could spend all day looking at your desk.
Keeps, dude.
Yeah, and the old shit boy, nice, dude. Check that out, dude. Artifacting like hell, dude.
Yeah, that is a 2080 or 2080 Ti. And if you look, that's even before Windows loads. That's even before the driver comes in. So you definitely know it's on software.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's you can't fix it. It's done.
Yeah.
That sucks, dude.
That was right in the garbage, dude.
Yeah, and also that Vive controller or the Index controller also in the garbage.
Well, no, it's back to Valve, and then Valve was like, "Oh, oops." That's a story for another time. Though.
Yeah, it is. We talked about it, I think, on the podcast once.
Yeah,
before.
I think so.
Dude, like, isn't it? That's what the point is, though. Is like all these fucking struggles, dude. It seems like every time, and this is why I did the server Reich build. If something goes bad, it's easy for me to just slide it out and get into it, and then I'm done. You know,
smart move, dude.
Because I'm tired of dealing with the builds that are hard and shit. I understand that Macs fail. Like Louis Rossman will tell you that. But I personally have had amazing experiences with mine. I haven't had any issues.
I have too, outside of the butterfly keyboard.
Outside of the butterfly keyboard, that's a well-documented, well-known issue. But
I will say, I took it to the Apple Store.
Yeah.
I got no hassles. The only complaint I had was I was without a computer for about 2 to 3 weeks.
That does suck.
Now for me, it wasn't that big of a deal because I always have a desktop and an iPad and stuff.
Yeah.
But I could imagine if that was someone where I used that machine for my livelihood and it was my only machine, I would probably have a problem with it.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, dude. I mean, because like obviously that's a long time to be without something. But to be fair, on the desktop side, I mean, unless they have an advanced RMA, like some EVGA and stuff, like they offer advanced RMA with like if you need a GPU. But like a lot of times that's not the case. Like my motherboard I had to send in. I was without a computer for a couple weeks. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like that sucks. But like, and they actually repaired it and sent me the same board back. I was shocked. I thought they'd send me like another board. But
I got a full what's called a top case replacement.
Okay, yeah.
And if it wasn't covered under warranty, under like their like program that's like, hey, we messed up program. My actual receipt was like $1,300 for a keyboard replacement for a butterfly switch, because how those keyboards are put in there with the butterfly with the butterfly switches is the whole top case has to be replaced.
Yeah.
So like for example, my B key was double hitting. They had to replace the top case, replace the keyboard, replace the touch bar, replace the touch bar controller, replace the display controller. It was a pricey bill, but again, you know, they didn't give me a hard time about it. No. You know, like so.
No. Yeah. Like I want to get back on topic real quick to the actual webpage. I want to ask you what your opinion of the I/O is. So, you know, obviously they've changed it up a little bit.
Yeah, we did not cover that.
There's a lot we didn't cover, dude. Like we
happy about everything except the SD card.
Yeah. Okay. So, obviously, go ahead and explain to the podcast why you don't like SD card. Because, you know, if you ask him KBHD, dude, he says he doesn't know a professional who doesn't use SD on a regular basis. So,
right now, for sure.
Right now, you're right.
I would probably agree with that, but
for.
I don't think he uses SD on a regular basis, unless he's talking about like taking photos with his Hasselblad X1D Mark II.
Maybe that's what he's talking about.
But I think my point is like this is catered towards a pro audience, right? You would think that like you're going to deal with pro IO, and like
SD is not pro IO. Just hints.
I will say though that if you notice on the website, they didn't touch it. They didn't touch on it on the keynote, but it is SDXC.
Oh yeah.
What the hell? What the hell was that?
Oh, sorry, I dropped something. Check it out. I'm playing with this ball head.
It's at least UHS 2 speeds, which is great, right? That's awesome.
So it's actually fast.
So here's what I would have liked to see. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're going to give us this in a pro device, why couldn't that also be a CF Express Type A port, since they kind of fall in the same form factor?
Like a dual port.
Kind of like how the A1 does it?
Yes.
That would have been more pro. Where's your CF Express Type B port? Because as we move into... No, I'm serious. Like I would have maybe just rather to see a fourth Thunderbolt port there.
Mm-hmm.
Because...
Dude,
here's my logic behind it, right? Because like, if you buy a $4,800 machine, which is the spec I'm looking at, I think yours was $4,000.
Yeah.
I'm kind of contemplating between maybe down the road getting the 16 and using it as my only device.
Yeah.
Again, you know, probably not going to happen because I would need a PC. I think.
Yeah,
I don't know, but like,
it sucks. But yeah,
California dreaming. That's what I would do. You're going to have cameras that need faster medium than SD cards.
Yeah.
You have the A1 that shoots 50 megapixels, 30 frames a second. You have the R5 that records 4K 120 and 8K RAW. And SD just doesn't have the bandwidth for that. And I think as we move forward, you know, I'm trying to be forward thinking in the fact that maybe these people aren't like us, and maybe people are looking at this as an investment to use for the next 3, 4, or 5 years.
Right.
Okay. Because again, it's a big expense. You know, you may be giving us a storage medium that isn't going to necessitate the needs of modern cameras, of modern filmmaking. Like
literally leaving.
Shoots red.
Yeah. Like I was just saying, I'm literally.
Do you really think those
SD.
red mags, those red mags, are SD cards? I guarantee you, his 8K Velociraptor does not take an SD card. No. All right, Marquez, it doesn't take an SD card.
No, it doesn't.
I can tell you right now, it doesn't take an SD card.
No. And I'm about to be off of SD cards because like the A1 can take it, but I just bought the freaking CF Express Type A cards. because I want to be able to shoot 30 frames per second because the camera can, and like have the buffer cleared.
So you're going to be using an adapter anyway. I think in terms of memory storage, having a faster bandwidth port that can take anything is a better play than putting an SD card in. For me, this is kind of a normie move.
Yeah, it is. And I personally think, like, we've all got the adapters now with like SD. Like every single USB Type-C adapter you buy has SD card slot. Every single one. So don't tell me that you can't like just use a dongle that you already have at this point.
Yeah, so I'm okay with HDMI. I think HDMI is a good add.
Yeah.
For a few reasons, because HDMI is weird, right? Like, so as someone who owns an M1 MacBook, the only way I can get 4K 60 on an external display is if I use the special Snowflake Apple adapter.
God, you're so right, dude. Isn't that sucky? Like, I hate having to hunt down an adapter that can do 4K 60. So I
literally have to use the Apple one. Like I have a really expensive one, guys, over here.
Yeah.
And by expensive, I mean it was like $100.
$100.
This Belkin boy right here.
Okay, yeah.
You guys can see.
Oh, there
this
it is.
guy will not do 4K 60 out of my MacBook,
dude.
out of my M1 MacBook.
Yeah.
So,
no, I agree, dude. It's
so
kind of
I
a good
agree
thing.
with the HDMI. I don't agree with the SD.
Is it 2.1? Is it
this boy?
Yeah. No. The Mac, the new one. The new one.
It has to be.
It better
has to
be,
right?
because I want to be able to plug it into my LG displays and get like 4K 120. I don't know if VRR will work, but you know, I want to be able to get 4K 120.
No is the answer.
Damn. Why don't they support that? Oh, is it G-Sync?
That's a Mac OS thing.
Well, they're supporting VRR now. On their display, right?
No, they're not.
What do you call it then? Because it's variable refresh.
My understanding, and yes and no, variable refresh in the way that I'm thinking of it will respond to when the graphics card draws a frame.
Okay.
Not to when input is detected on the screen.
So they're two different technologies? Is that what you're getting at?
That's my understanding of it. That's my understanding of it. No, because it ranks up and down in steps with like ProMotion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it goes from like 24 to 120. I think it does.
Yeah. Okay.
24 to 120.
Well, I mean, so does like G-Sync, right? Like it has like a minimum and a maximum.
It does have a minimum and a maximum, but the way they've shown it off is that it will ramp up and down based off of the content on the screen, not when the graphics card draws a frame. I think that's where we're missing.
Okay, so what you're saying is,
I could be wrong. I'm
really curious now. I'm going to do some research because it kind of sucks if I can't use external displays that have that capability. What was interesting to me, and why I think the way I think, I guess is probably the best way to put it, is because they went out of their way to say that pros who need to use 24p can still go into the settings and set it to 24p. Whereas if it did have VRR, it could just detect a video on the screen and lock it to 24p, right? Like, great point.
Like my television does that. You know, Apple TV does that. So
yeah, good point, dude.
That kind of made me think that it doesn't work that way, because you wouldn't have to do it manually if it did.
Yeah.
And like that's not a big problem to me, because again, I don't game on my MacBook.
But I want to in the future, though. Like we just talked about it. That'd be great. I want to be able to get the same experience that I get on my PC. I want to be able to get that and more on my Mac. And that's really the problem, isn't it?
I could be wrong on that. I mean, like, it's really easy to check.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get your M1 Mac, just open up like a Blurbusters window and like start a video and then see what it syncs to.
Yeah, 100%.
But
I'm glad they
my understanding is it's more on what's displayed on the screen versus when the GPU draws a frame.
I'll do some testing. I'll do some testing on it, but I don't have high hopes. But I am okay. Thunderbolt 4. I'm glad they put more ports on it. Not many, but they put it on both sides, and you can charge via USB-C still, which is good. But one thing that I thought was weird was MagSafe 3.
I don't. We kind of saw that coming. I think it's a good idea.
I don't know how I feel about it. Like I feel good about it, but I also, how like like Apple is all like one cable does it all. Like you plug in charging,
but they're not though.
Monitor, peripherals, like all one cable. Like you know what I mean? Like that's kind of the dream, right? But now it's like not one cable. It's like MagSafe 3.
Here's where I'm at with
USB-C to your peripherals. I mean, you can still do one cable, but not at the. You probably can't even buy power supply. Like it probably needs it to be able to do what it does. I don't know.
Remember what I said before?
Yeah.
About USB Type-C being capped at 100 watts?
Right. They already have like
MagSafe isn't.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? So MagSafe can push. I don't know, but it comes with. Doesn't it say it comes with like a? Hold on. Now I'm gonna check. Because it comes with like a certain charger, right? In the box. Let me just do the store thing and see what it comes with.
Let me see what it actually is. Yeah. Existing USB-C cables are capable of delivering up to 100 watts of power, but the latest spec revision increases it to 240 watts.
Okay, wow.
But I don't think that spec revision is out yet.
No. So it comes with a 96 watt USB-C power adapter. What? Like, where's MagSafe involved in this? Right? It has a MagSafe 3 port, but like, where's the MagSafe power adapter?
So,
like, does it not? What?
No. So it's USB-C on one end.
Okay.
MagSafe on the other. The brick, and then it's MagSafe on the other.
Ah, so weird. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But it's the same. But don't I already have a 96 watt USB-C power adapter that I got with like?
You do, because it came with the. Well, maybe you don't. I do.
I do. I do have one.
It came with a 16-inch i9.
Yeah, I have it.
If you've had a 16-inch i9, then you have it.
I bought another one too. So
I do too.
When I sold it, I gave it to him.
I have Apple 96 watt USB chargers coming out the butthole because.
Wow.
That thing had to be charged all the time. It really did. So
so you bought one for every location you would go to.
So I had one for my bag.
Yeah.
I had one for over by my home theater area, and then I had one in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I had one in work.
Yeah.
So I had 4 of them.
Yeah.
And then I sold one when I sold it, but I still have 3 of them, and I honestly just use them with my M1 Mac. You know, like
I do the same.
They're interchangeable. So
yeah.
So
I leave mine at work. Actually, that's really where I charge my laptop the most. Is I'll plug it in at the office, and then when I take it home, I never charge it at home, hardly ever.
Well, I just have it plugged in upstairs, and then like I'll charge my MacBook or my iPad up there, whichever one needs it. But they all pull from the same 96 watt brick because I just have a lot of them.
Yeah, 100%. So I mean, overall, the I/O is like pretty good. The SD card is kind of a miss.
I think it's great.
But,
I think it's great. Let's be objective for a little bit, and I'm going to have to swallow my pride a little bit. I think for the average user, because like I have a friend who will do nothing but browse Reddit, but he still bought the M1 Max.
Mm-hmm. Nutty.
I think for the average user, SD card's a good ad.
Yeah.
You know, I think for people who have like a Canon R6, Sony A7S or a Sony A7 III, which is the majority of people.
Probably the A7 IV SD card.
The A7 IV will probably be dual SD.
Yeah.
What's the other camera? The Nikon Z6.
Yeah.
What's the other vlog camera that people use all the time? The Sony V1. You know what I'm talking about? Like the new little boy. Anyway, chances are 90% of the community probably uses SD.
Right.
Now, Eric and I are weirdos, and I have an R5. His A1 just shipped.
Yeah.
We are in the extreme minority. Of camera
I'm not complaining,
features.
dude. Like.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
I didn't expect Apple to bend over backwards for us. Obviously, this isn't the framework laptop, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't put in whatever I want,
Bro, the framework laptop is basically a previous gen MacBook, but the someone used the cut tool in SolidWorks and put the USB ports inside. That's literally what it is. Tell me I'm wrong.
Oh, you know what? I wanted to ask you this, too. Hold on, let me pull it up. What do you think?
We didn't touch on the touch bar yet.
Touch bar vanished, dude. This looks like the new keyboards that they're selling, that they came out with, like the new iMac. It looks like that, right? Like,
so
it's the same.
I have a few issues with this. Okay,
I'm excited. Issues.
So, as someone who has already explored the option of ditching PC and going for the dream, you can't buy an external Black Boy keyboard with the Touch ID on it. It's only silver right now. So that's caveat number 1 is Apple, where you at with your external colors? Number 2, I can safely say that I have practically never used the touch bar in applications outside of when I first got it.
Same
now,
here.
Now, that being said, there are things I do like about the touch bar. For example, volume slider.
Yeah,
really
I do
cool.
that too.
Brightness slider, really cool.
You know, I'm
that
starting to
aspect
wonder
of it.
though. Like, I need to feel this because I need to know if just like tap 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 to the volume or like tap 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 to the brightness is better than like tap and then doing a slide boy or like tap.
So here's
slide.
my complaint.
You know what I mean?
Here's my complaint. By virtue of how taps work, it has to be gated, right?
It
has
gated.
to be 5% brightness every tap or whatever, or 5% volume every tap.
It's analog. If you're sliding, totally get that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so like that, I'm gonna miss.
Yeah. I mean,
Although
if you really cared, you could go to like Control Center and then just use the mouse.
You could probably adjust what it. Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. So that I'm gonna miss. Predictive text was probably the only time I ever also really used it, because like if I was typing a word like I didn't really know how to spell, like inconceivable.
Okay, yeah.
I could just touch on the touch bar then, because I definitely spelled it wrong.
Oh yeah, good point.
That is probably the actual practical use case I would miss it on. Oh, the only other time I religiously used it was brush size in Photoshop.
Oh, Photoshop support. Okay.
Now again, if you're not familiar with Photoshop, brackets do that too.
Yeah.
But like you would literally be going.
Yeah,
I hear my keyboard.
I heard that.
Whereas just sliding it on the touch bar was kind of a novelty, but also kind of convenient.
Right.
But I think that this is going to make the general consensus a lot more happy.
Yeah.
That guy I told you about who works for Facebook now or Google, I forget which one it is.
Yeah.
You know who I'm referring to.
Yeah, of course.
He was a MacBook guy through and through forever.
Yeah.
And as someone who spends a lot of time in terminal like he does, or in coding applications, as soon as Mac ditched the F1 keys, he was out. He was done. Wow. He has a Lenovo now, and he got it in 2016 because he couldn't deal with non-physical function keys.
Okay.
So
honestly, I gotta say, I'm one of those people that has been upset about that too. For example, in Blender, there's some F keys that I instinctually use. F12 is render, so I have to hit. I had to hold function, wait for the function buttons to appear. There's a delay, and then I hit F12.
I will say that you can go into Control Panel and just lock them to be function keys all the time. But at that point, it's infinitely worse than physical buttons. Yeah, exactly. Because I'd rather have the tactility of physical buttons at that point. Yeah. So yeah. And also, it blew my mind that they never added haptic feedback to the touch bar. So it just kind of felt like poop. Yeah, you're right. I mean? Like, I never really knew if I was, doing it right, I guess. So yeah, it would have been nice. But it's kind of like how they had, what was it? On the iPhones, like the Force Touch, 3D Touch. 3D Touch, I miss. That's one thing I still miss. Yeah, I know. It was such a cool thing, and then they got rid of it. And I used it a lot too. Like I really used 3D Touch a lot. Yeah, 3D Touch was good. I'm like, now you have long press, but it's not the same. Yeah, yeah. It's just not the same anymore. Yeah, it's all good. So. But yeah, here's some performance metrics, blah blah blah, and yeah. But yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything, dude. And I see your camera's dying. I think so. Well, this was a long one, man. It was, and it's because we can talk all day about stuff, dude. Let's wrap this bitch up, dude. Yeah, that's been pretty much it. Anyone's watching, let us know if the quality's any different. We did switch to Discord for this one because Zoom was giving us a bit of an issue with like streaming quality. Yeah. So the audio should be the same. It should be a video difference. If you have a preference, let me know. Yeah, I'd be curious to see if you guys have any preference, and we're kind of looking for a better video solution, better streaming option. Yeah. So if anyone has any ideas, drop us a line, dude. Email us. Yeah, for real, dude. We're gonna wrap this bitch up, dude. Though. So anyway, that's been the Technesthetic podcast. Thanks for tuning in. What's There's vents on the bottom. There's vents on the bottom. Oh yeah, I did not see that before. Yeah, they're in the sides. Maybe that's why we have leg boys. That is why we have leg boys, dude. There are vents on the bottom, dude. That's good. Anyway, that's been the podcast. Hey, Technesthetic. Technesthetic.com. Check us out there. Email us. And yeah, what do you guys think about the MacBook Pro? Tell us in the comments. And I guess that's it. We'll see you guys in the next one. That's it, boys.